Hello friends, I'm Sham Tamankar. I welcome you all to an audio visual learning program MSBT Lead Learning at Your Doorstep. Here we are going to deal with course outcome 2, unit outcome 6, part B of the subject management code 22509. Now in this part we are going to learn about group dynamics. From the two pictures shown here, you can see there is a group at the top and there is an intra-group relationship. We have already discussed about it in the last part. And the second picture shows you intergroup relationships. I mean, there are different groups and there is a relationship among those groups. So why it is called as group dynamics? Because the relationships are not constant. They keep on changing. That's why they are dynamic. And there are the forces of the interpersonal relationship or intergroup relationship or intragroup relationship. So these are the different forces which act on each other and create their own dynamics. So that's why this is called as the group dynamics. Now what is the content of this part? We'll see concept of a group. We'll see concept of group dynamics. We'll see the characteristics of an effective work group. This is a wonderful quote from Henry Ford. Coming together is a beginning, staying together is a progress, and working together is a success. I need not elaborate on it. It's very easy to understand. So it shows the importance of working together, coming together, and staying together. So human being is a social animal. We are called as the gregarious animal. Gregarious means the animals who live in herd. कळप करून राहणारे प्राणी. सो मनुष्य प्राणी हा सुद्धा कळप करून राहणारा प्राणी आहे. So human being is a social gregarious animal and always likes to be in group or different groups at different time. Very rarely you will find that he is very aloof and he does not want to be part of different groups and create relationships. Probably he may be a sannyasi or a sadhu and he may go to Himalaya and live there alone. But more or less all people try to be in group and be a part of different group at different times. As defined by Hughes and Bowditch in 1977, a group is any number, but generally small, of people who have a common purpose or objective. When people come together, so they have certain objective or a common purpose. Interact with each other to accomplish their objectives. So they create the interaction, the relations, and through that they try to accomplish their objectives. They are aware about one another, they know each other well, and they always consider themselves or perceive themselves to be the part of that group. So, throughout our lives, we belong to many different groups. You may say family, a club, and so on. In management, we primarily talk of groups at work. In most organizations, getting the work done require group efforts. Whatever the efforts are done in organizations, they are essentially group efforts. A manager must know how to manage an individual by knowing the individual dynamics. So he must know the dynamics of that individual. What are his values? How is his personality? What are his perceptions? What is his attitude? What are his beliefs? He must be able to know that person fully and must understand his individual dynamics so that he will be able to manage that person or handle that person. At the same time, he or she should also know how to manage a group by understanding group dynamics. We understood what the group dynamics is, and it is very, very essential and important for a manager to understand the group dynamics as he understands the individual dynamics. Now, what is the concept of group dynamics? In 1930, Kurt Lewin popularized the term group dynamics to mean interaction of forces among group members in a social situation. So, there is any social situation, please try to understand the working together at workplace is also one type of a social situation. So it means interaction of forces. So there are different forces, relationship forces acting among the group members in a particular situation. The forces change, the dynamics change when the situation change. According to Humas 1950, the basis of group formation is in terms of activities, interaction, and sentiments of the people. So, what is the basis of group formation? According to him, when you do certain activities together, when you have the interaction with each other, and very importantly, you share certain common sentiments. Okay, so your feelings, your sentiments are same, common. These three elements are directly related to each other. We know that more the activities the people share, the more numerous will be their interaction. Simple. If the activities increase, the interaction will increase. And as the interaction will increase, and when the interaction will become stronger, it will be their mutual sentiments. They will also become stronger. People do not come only physically together. When they form a group, it is not the case they just come together and sit. No. But they also solve problems, attain goals, facilitate coordination, reduce tension, and achieve a balance. So they come together to solve problems, to attain goals, to facilitate coordination among them, reduce tension. When you say the resolution of the conflict, it is part of group dynamics. So you reduce tension, and by reducing the tension, you achieve a balance because different type of forces are acting at each other. You know, in physics, that when certain forces are acting on a particular object, then ultimately the forces balance themselves and the particular object reaches to a dynamic balance. So this is nothing but group dynamics. In an organization, participants interact with each other in this manner, the manner we discussed right now, and tend to form into powerful groups. Groups in turn offer an individual safety and security needs. So as an individual, you offer something to the group, you become the part of that group, and then group in turn also offer you, it may be the safety and security needs. So when you are in a group of people, you feel secured. So you always see that when there is certain calamity, people come together, hurt together. Why? Because they want to feel safe. They want to feel secured. So Groups in turn offer an individual safety and security needs, relatedness with each other, or they have the sense of belonging needs. Then it provides the esteem and growth needs. So group can help you to grow. Group can help you to create your esteem in that group. Now, what are the characteristics of effective work group? In managing the organization, group must be made into effective work groups. They should not be only groups or only work groups, but they should be effective work groups. The factors that influence the work groups effectiveness are, so there are different factors which affect the group effectiveness. They are group norms, group cohesiveness, and group leadership. We will see it one by one. So what is the meaning of group norms? When a group functions for a period of time to attain certain objective, it develops certain norms or standards of behavior or rules, you can say. So there are certain, maybe formally or informally, certain norms are created, certain standard behavior is expected, or there are certain rules to be followed by the members of the group. So a norm is a rule. It may be formal or informal. This tells the individual how to behave in a particular group. Now, what is group cohesiveness? It means the degree to which group members are motivated to remain within the group and consequently behave in a similar ways. So, how much is the closeness among the group members? How much is the bond, or how strong is the bond? How close they are? This is the group cohesiveness you can call. And that group cohesiveness makes the member to behave in a similar way or in a similar pattern. Cohesiveness develops out of activities. When you do activities together, that bond develops. So when you do activities together, the interactions and the sentiments of the people also grow, and the cohesiveness grows. The cohesive group acts as one man striving to attain its goal. So it means there may be 5, 6, or 8 people, but they always act in one, in unison, or they always speak in one voice. So as if they are a single entity or a single person. The cohesive group helps the members in their satisfaction of needs and attainment of goals. So in turn, groups also help members for their satisfaction, for satisfaction of their needs, and maybe attainment of their own goals. The third is group leadership. Leadership is the ability to influence the behavior of others. It's a very simple definition of leadership. We will not go into much more details about the leadership. Managers are the formal leaders. So managers are formal leaders, but informal leaders often emerge from activities, interactions, sentiments of the ongoing group and contribute a lot. Number of times while you are working, you know, you will find there is a senior worker who many a times guide people or direct the people as a manager. So now formally he is not a manager or a leader, but he becomes the informal leader of that group, and people look at him as their leader. So this is all about the group dynamics. We have looked into this subject. It's a very vast subject, but we have tried to understand it in a very short way. Now we will go to course outcome 2, unit outcome 6, part C, in which we'll discuss about the concept of team. Thank you. Thanks a lot.